Hey guys, I'm back with a new series. In this series, we will be learning about the blockchain technology. Now, blockchain, as we know, is a completely new way to make transactions. It allows us to make transactions in new ways that are more secure, more transparent, and more cheaper than before. So let us discuss a few examples from the industries that use the blockchain technology or that have a scope of using the blockchain technology. Now we all want our personal identity should remain safe. No one should be able to access the information about where we go, what we do, and what we are planning without our permission. So the problem is that we often give this information to the major corporations in return for the services that they provide and can lose the control of how our information is used. So these corporations store the data that we produce in the large storage centralized database. Having such important data collected into a single location can be useful, but then there are several risks associated to it. So one is that it makes it a huge target for hackers to break in and steal your data. So on the blockchain, the data is not held in a centralized database. It is shared among everyone and verified by people in the network. So information is secured using the cryptography so that the criminals cannot come and steal our data. So this makes this type of data breach nearly impossible. So let us take an example of car manufacturing. So to build a car, there are many companies involved. There are shipping parts like screws, panels, engines, and the doors. Now all of these parts need to be tracked even and after the car is built. We need to track the car's ownership as it goes from the manufacturer to the dealer and at last to the end consumer. So this process is known as the supply chain. Now right now, managing the supply chain is extremely messy. The details and history of each part are listed across many companies. Now these companies usually do not share the information with each other and they struggle to keep the records up to date. So this forces the company to spend a lot on the resources to handle the records. So this is the space where the blockchain can make a huge difference. So on the blockchain, the information about this car can be publicly available. This allows us to know the exact details and the history of every part of the product that we buy, rent, or use. So for one thing, that the information which is public is generally anonymous. So this way you can be sure that no one can see what you are doing. Now there are also some underlying security metrics that are built into the system. So blockchain is changing the industries around the world. So if we take into account the medicine sector, we can help save the lives. We can have more secure and accurate patient information. In finance, you can send the money across the world freely and securely, potentially changing the entire financial system. Now even the government elections can be made more secure and transparent on the blockchain. So what is a blockchain? So the blockchain is a shared database that contains list of transactions, and then these transactions are made between the users that become the part of this network. The transaction can be something as simple as sending the money. Now this is actually a proper use case in the blockchain, first established by the cryptocurrency Bitcoin. So the idea of the Bitcoin came from some unknown person who goes by the name Satoshi Nakamoto. So the idea was to create new type of currency that was open to anyone and can establish the trust needed to facilitate the transactions. So the blockchain data is shared among all the users in the network. It is not kept in the hands of the central authority. It is extremely difficult to change any data once it has been put into the blockchain. Putting these two things together, you end up with a shared permanent history of transactions that we can trust to be accurate and up to date. So let us say if we want to send some coins, to send these coins, we each need a wallet, right? So we will send the coins from our wallet to some other wallet, and this is what we call as a transaction. So the transaction is a record of information, who sends it, to whom it was sent, and how much was sent. Next, the transaction is sent out to the network of users, and the goal of the network is to take our transaction and group it with other transaction into a block. Now once enough transactions are collected, the block is full and is ready to be permanently added to the blockchain. So to do this, the full block is assigned a unique value, and that unique value is known as the hash. So a hash is a unique fingerprint of information that allows us to identify the block in the future. So this hash is very important because this uniquely identifies which data was actually inside the block. So if we want to change the amount that we want to send, say from 5 coins to say 8 coins, then this will change the hash of the block, making it invalid. So the block is given a hash value as well as the hash value of the block that was created before it. And this we will see in a later section of the course. So this hash then links the two blocks together, and over time this continues to build a longer and longer chain of blocks. Now as time goes on, this blockchain creates an unchangeable, immutable, historical record of all transactions that have ever happened on the network. So this idea has allowed us to create some really interesting applications on the blockchain in various industries. So this was all I wanted to cover in the introductory video of blockchain. In the very next video, we will cover about the components that make up the blockchain framework. So let's catch up in the very next video.